incredible day for Bitcoin, breaking back above 88,000 and attempting a move towards 90k. Can we get back to 100k on Bitcoin this week? A powerful daily candle up 3.3%, and this is something I predicted going into this long weekend. What did I say in my video? I said, guys, every time through last week that we were green when Europe and Asia was open, we gave up all our gains on Bitcoin when the US market opened up. This market is worried about US and their tariffs, and whenever those markets open up again, we get jitters. Apart from that, this market is healthy, and I maintained that throughout this tariff frenzy over the last kind of couple of weeks. This is testament to that. As soon as you've had a long weekend where the traditional markets were closed, we're seeing Bitcoin show some strength. It finally had a weekend to kind of consolidate here over the low volumes on Saturday and Sunday, but you're seeing a big candlestick here today with decent enough volumes, which is impressive. Let's jump on over to the traditional markets to take a look to see how they're doing. Europe, relatively unchanged. Asia was slightly green in the Australian, Indian, and Hong Kong and Chinese markets, but the Japanese Nikkei was down. Let's now jump on over to the US market, where we can see that we are still struggling, right? Trump's Powell attacks add to investors' concern. Trump ramps up attacks on Powell, demands that the loser Fed chair lowers rates now. And this is typical, right? This is typical politics. But what's crazy is despite that, Bitcoin is showing tremendous strength, right? We know from a technical perspective, this is a beautiful place to bounce. We broke out of a long-term downtrend. We even took the time to slightly retest and are now a strong big candlestick taking us through to the first pivot point, which is this 88k level. The next level you want to be looking for is this pivot point here, which is around 94. Before then, you're going to get psychological resistance at 90k. That's always an important level, 90k. And then upwards, right? The next level thereafter is around the 98k, and then eventually working our way to 100k. So this setup is really, really nice. More important than that, however, is what you can see here, which is we have a big candlestick delivering us, well, we still got 7 hours left, but it looks like we're going to get our daily EMA ribbon back. And this is really, really important. I mean, we've not had this daily EMA ribbon since February, so it's been a minute, so it's good to finally get it back. Now, after we get it back, we may need to retest, come back down for a bit, chill a bit, and then bounce again. But this is a really important, decent volume candlestick here on Bitcoin, and it's a move of intent. Now, there's a couple of things in the news which you can look to. Maybe it's providing some, excitement in the market. Stablecoin giant Circle is launching a new payment and remittance network. So they're saying, this is our way to kind of compete with the big boys, right? Circle is launching a payments network that is initially targeting remittances, but ultimately aiming to rival MasterCard and Visa. Guys, these are seriously big companies, MasterCard and Visa, and if we're trying to see, these kinds of products being built in crypto, that's a huge step. If we take a refresh of the Fear and Greed Index, which was 39 last week, still sitting at 39, right? So that's not changed in a massive, massive move, but we're no longer in those extreme fear. And I think that's an important point. I think ultimately what the market's kind of realized over the last kind of couple of days is we could be through the worst of it. If we look at this wall of worry, we were really, really worried about these tariffs. We got these crazy percentages from the, Trump administration. We didn't know where we were going. We could have had trade war. And by no means am I saying all of that worry has now gone away, but markets are rationalizing it, right? They're putting a quantum on it. They're trying to say, hang on, maybe it's not as bad as we were predicting, because investors always do that. When the news first comes out, quick, panic, risk off, get everything out, be safe, because they rather be safe than sorry. Then afterwards, when they kind of digest the news, they start putting the risk back on. And I think that's what we're seeing here on crypto, which remember, crypto held up remarkably well during the tariff nightmare compared to the traditional markets. It showed some really, really good strength. Now, of course, if I refresh the crypto bubbles, you'll see a little bit of green starting to come back into the market, which is good news, right? This is not that type of day where it's just Bitcoin moving. But that being said, it's not like altcoins are going crazy. Today is still a day for Bitcoin dominance, which is now pushed through 64, creating a new 4-year record. Really, really high Bitcoin dominance, showing this market is a Bitcoin market. It's a rotation to safety. You are not seeing your altcoins move. So all those people frustrated, including myself, that want the altcoin altcoins to go up. This is why I say eat your veg. Don't disrespect Bitcoin, because when push comes to shove, it's the biggest market cap crypto of them all. It's the first one. It's the safest one. It's the strongest one with the most adoption, with institutional flows, with ETFs, with all that good stuff. This is the thing that's going to hold up your portfolio. Yes, have your crazy bets, but don't neglect the daddy, which is, of course, Bitcoin. There are select altcoins which are moving. Ethereum having 2% up today, but it's still less than Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's up 3.5%, and yet something like Sonic is only moving 1.2%. Trump coin is moving 2%, Ethereum 2%. Went for a disaster, flat on the day. Griffin is up 8%, interestingly, AI play. We are seeing, AI narrative doing really, really well. I took an AI trade in the Telegram community, which you guys can join. Link is in the description. $49 per month to see all of my trades. So if you're interested, link is in the description. Come and trade with me. Come join me. Save yourself all the pain and effort and the trial and error. Just trade with me. Cool. So nice strong daily candle here on Bitcoin. And more importantly, if I zoom out now to the weekly, look how beautiful this is. Look how beautiful this is. And you guys can't say, oh, this is hindsight investing. No. In the peak of this candlestick, when this was wicking down and it looked like we were losing our weekly EMA ribbon, I said, guys, wait to the weekly candle close. Yes, we're wicking below our EMA ribbon, but I'm not going to panic until we get the weekly candle close, because there's a chance the bulls step in later on in the week. It's exactly what happened. The bulls stepped in later this week, finished it in a green week, right? This went as low as 74. Imagine during that week, you panic. It's down at 74, but then finishes the week at 83 with a high of 86. Incredible week, but a really important week, because that was the week we maintained our weekly EMA ribbon. We followed that up with another positive week last week, and this week is setting itself up for a good, strong start. Now, granted, still the whole week to go, right? Still 6 days, 8 hours to go before this candle closes. Bears will want to try wreck us and push us to the downside, of course. But so far, so good. A really nice bounce. Now, on the longer term picture, this bounce can't just do that. That would be bad. That's a lower high. That's us trending into a triangle. We don't want to see that. We need a higher high. Right? We need to go and get a new high on Bitcoin, or at least start to get up to some of these levels again to show that we've got the momentum. Now, I don't want to jump the gun and start calling for that now, but just so you know, on the weekly chart, we do need that, right? We do need that. Now, if I zoom out, look at this white trend line. Right, I used the 64 peak in early 2021. I used the 69 peak from later in 2021. I used the 74 new all-time high that we generated in March of 2025. And then, of course, look at how we're now backtesting that level. Right, we're turning this resistance into support and using it as a springboard. No surprise that we're seeing 3 candles here of green showing real good bullish momentum. Now, it'd be remiss of me not to mention the fact that, look, markets can tumble us again. Trump can come out and say some crazy stuff again. He could continue to do this kind of stuff, right? Telling Jerome Powell. I mean, let's just take a look at Truth Social. Let's see if I can find the tweet for Mr. Trump over here. Let's see what he has said. Let's hit refresh on this. Let's see if we can find what Trump is saying. Here we go. Preemptive cuts in interest rates are being called for by many. With energy costs way down, food prices substantially lower, and most other things trending down, there is virtually no inflation. With these costs trending so nicely downward, just what I predicted they would do, there can almost be no inflation, but there can be a slowing of the economy unless Mr. Too-Late, a major loser, lowers interest rates. Now, Europe has already lowered 7 times. Powell has always been too late, except when it came to the election period, when he lowered in order to help sleepy Joe Biden. Later, Kamala got elected. How did that work out? Right. Look. Obviously, he's going to do this, right? He wants Jerome Powell to tidy up his mess. It's a bit hypocritical for him to come out, do the craziest of, tariff announcements on a healthy economy, where Jerome Powell, this is not Jerome Powell's fault. He was steering a soft landing. Whether you like him or not, wherever you sit on politics, I care about my portfolio. That's all I care. I'm not American, right? He was steering a soft landing. We were going to get rate cuts. Just a couple, maybe we would have had 1 by now, 2 by now, 3 by now. And then you come with this tariff nightmare. You're bringing back inflation. It's going to show in the numbers, whether it's transitory or not. And that's why he's not cutting. So for you to just sit here and tweet and say, why are you not cutting? This is just political shithousery, if you like. But right now, that's not what we need to worry about. Bitcoin is remaining strong despite this, which is tremendous, right? Again, let me remind you, Dow Jones down 2.6, S&P down 2.74, NASDAQ down 3%. Crypto is specifically correlated to NASDAQ. Look at this, it's throwing up here. It's throwing up here, and yet crypto is just like, you know what? Hold that. We're going to move the other direction. In other words, a 6.5% swing on Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ. That being said, hold your horses, expect more volatility. We're still in a volatile period. I certainly wouldn't be in crazy margin or leverage. I'm in solid place. I'm enjoying the pump. If we pull back, I'm ready to buy the dip. And I'm not getting carried away myself. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content, smash all the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.